When it comes to writing copy for emails, sales pages, landing pages, and even just thinking about my offer or an offer for a client, there is one book that I go to nonstop. And fortunately, it's not a very big book. In fact, it's only 89 pages. And in this video, I am going to share the most important idea from this book, The 16-Word Sales Letter by Evaldo Albuquerque. Evaldo has a very interesting story. He is a copywriter. English is actually his second language, and he worked for a pretty famous financial publishing company by the name of Agora Financial. Now, Agora is very interesting because you may have heard of Agora, and Agora is not actually just one company, but Agora is a whole network of companies. In fact, the Agora model is kind of interesting. It's founded by a couple of guys, Bill Bonner, Mark Ford. And what Agora has done is they would have an info publishing business, a guru, an expert. Think of someone like a Robert Kiyosaki or Grant Cardone. And that guru would put out a product, some kind of newsletter or educational product, typically, and they got their start around investing. And Agora would just cycle through all of these different experts. They would pick up the new and latest expert off the street who had a really compelling idea. James Altucher is another one. He had his own radio show. They would bring on James Altucher, and James was talking about crypto back in 2017. And what Agora would do is they would spin out a new offer around a particular guru, and any of those that would actually take traction, they would spin a whole business around them. So Agora would actually grow to a point where they might have 2, 3, 4, 5, half a dozen experts until they got to the point where they're doing $100 or a couple $100 million a year. And then one of those experts might spin off to its own new company. Porter Stansberry is a really good example of those. There's a campaign called The End of America. It is one of the most successful campaigns that has ever been run by Agora Financial. And I share all of this because Agora is built on writing good copy. The only reason they are able to do $2.5 billion a year is because of their copy. So when you go to work at Agora Financial as a copywriter, it's kind of like the Navy SEALs of digital marketing, the Navy SEALs of copywriting. They put you through the ringer. And I've been in their copy rooms where they've been batting these ideas around, and it is not for the faint of heart. But where there's high risk, there's also high reward. And Evaldo came on the scene, English as his second language, and wrote the most successful sales letter in all of Agora history across all of their companies. And in this book, the 16-Word Sales Letter, Evaldo breaks down how he was able to do that. What was his formula? What was his framework for approaching a new marketing idea? So highly worth the read. But there's one concept from the book that I want to share with you, and it's this idea of getting very clear around what is the one core belief that your prospect needs to believe that makes them wanting to buy your service the obvious choice. Some call it the big idea, some call it the unique mechanism, you name it, but Evaldo calls it the one belief. And the formula for the one belief is this. It is a combination of things. It's the new opportunity that is the key to getting your prospects, your ideal customers' primary desire. So new opportunity to their desire, and it's only attainable through my new mechanism. That's it. I'll say it again. It's the new opportunity to go ahead and get their desire, and it's only available through my new mechanism. And in the book, Evaldo breaks down how do you actually extract that for your business, especially if you sell something that might seem like a commodity. If you're a financial advisor, or if you're in the pet industry, you sell dog training, or you're a vet clinic or something like that. How do you actually share something that, how do you make something that is old actually sound new? And that's what is so important when it comes to marketing, because especially if you're selling the same old thing, you have to be able to make it sound new in order to get enough of somebody's attention to where then you actually have the opportunity to engage them in a sales conversation, make a sale, help that person and change their life, right? There's a bunch of examples that he shares in the book. One of my favorites is around P90X, where if we looked at P90X, and again, going kind of like back to the formula, P90X solves a problem of getting fit, and P90X solved a problem of helping people get fit, get in shape. But in order to do it, they needed a new opportunity. They needed a new way of doing that. And that's when they introduced muscle confusion. And muscle confusion became the new mechanism by which they did over $700 million of sales. So what's the one belief that you need to introduce in your marketing? It's that the new opportunity that's the key to their desire and is only obtainable through my new mechanism. If you want to know how to implement this stuff, there's a link in the bio. You can get my book. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.